பெரியோர்களே, மகாவம்சம் பல்கோண பார்வை என்ற தலைப்பிலே இதுவரை 3 உரைகள் நிகழ்த்தப்பட்டன. 4வது உரை சுதந்திரத்துக்கு பிற்பட்ட இலங்கை வரலாற்றில் மகாவம்சத்தின் வகை பாகம் என்ற தலைப்பிலே நக்கீரன் ஐயா திரு தங்கவேல் ஐயா அவர்கள் இப்பொழுது உரையாற்றுவார்.
தாய்மார்களே, பெரியோர்களே, தம்பி உங்களுடைய மாத வணக்கங்கள். நான் இந்த உரையை ஆங்கிலத்தில் செய்ய முன்வந்து நண்பர் அகில் கேட்டுக்கொண்டேன். ஆனால் மற்றவர்களை பார்த்தா அவர்கள் எல்லாம் தாய்மொழிகள் தான் ஆங்கிலத்தில் செய்வதில் ஒரு நன்மை என்னன்னு சொன்னால் அதை தமிழ் தெரியாதவன்னு படிக்கலாம்.
பெரும்பாலும் தமிழ் தெரிஞ்சாக்கெல்லாம் இந்த கூட்டத்துக்கு வருங்க.
ஆங்கிலத்திலே செய்யறது நான் பிரச்சனை இல்லை.
எனக்கு தந்த தலைப்பு இலங்கையின் சுதந்திரத்துக்கு பின்னர் அரசியலில் மகாவம்சத்தின் தாக்கம், இம்பேக்ட் ஆஃப் மகாவம்சம் ஆன் போஸ்ட் இண்டிபெண்டன்ஸ் பொலிட்டிக்கல் ஹிஸ்டரி ஆஃப் ஸ்ரீலங்கா. நான் நீண்டு போனால் நான் இடையில நீங்கள் என்றால் நீங்கள் என்னுடைய
30 நிமிஷம் 35 நிமிஷம் நீங்கள் இங்கிலீஷும் தமிழும் கலந்தும் பேசலாம்.
என்னுடைய இணையதளத்தில் பதிவேற்றம் செய்திருக்கிறேன். www.nakiran.com என்ற இதை கட்டுரையை நீங்கள் வாசிக்கலாம். இந்த கட்டுரை மட்டுமில்லை, வேற கட்டுரை தொடர்பான கட்டுரை கூட அங்கே இருக்கலாம். இதில் எனக்கு பெரிய சுலபம் என்னன்னு சொன்னால், இதே தலைப்பில் இன்ஃப்ளூயன்ஸ் ஆஃப் மகாவம்சம் ஆன் கண்டெம்பரரி பொலிட்டிக்ஸ்னு சொல்லி நான் தமிழ் மிரரில் ஒரு 6 கட்டுரை எழுதினேன். அப்படியா அதை நான் கிட்டத்தட்ட இதை சுருக்கி கொண்டு இருக்கிறேன். அதை
இந்த புத்தக வெளியீட்டு விழாவிலே நீங்கள் பேசினீங்க.
நான்
இந்த புத்தக வெளியீட்டு விழாவிலேயும் அதை பற்றி பேசினீங்க.
என்னுடைய
இந்த
உறவினர் தான் இந்த புத்தகம் எழுதினார். The task before me is to present and analyze the impact of Mahavamsa on post-independence political history of Sri Lanka. I presume that most of you have at least heard about Mahavamsa, though not necessarily studied in depth. Few books have influenced and shaped the culture and language of the nation's history. Mahavamsa is one of such books. It is written by the author for the serene joy and emotion of the pious, and his hero Nutagemanu or Abhyagamini Christ. His cry was not for the kingdom but for Buddhism. Not for the kingdom but for the Buddhism. அந்த மகாசமுத்திரத்தினுடைய சுருக்கமே இதுதான். அதாவது வந்து பௌத்த மதத்தையும் பௌத்தர்களுக்கும் ஒரு உரிய இடம் கொடுத்து அதை மேன்மைப்படுத்த வேண்டும் என்பதுதான் மகாநாமா அவர்களுடைய நோக்கம். அதை விட்டு நான் பேச விரும்பல. Another book that I can think of is Mein Kampf, authored by Adolf Hitler, in which he tried to establish the racial theory that Aryans are a superior race destined to rule the world after the destruction of their racial arch-foe, the Jews. Although my time is limited, I want to give a short narration of Mahavamsa, Great Chronicle, a Pali chronicle written in the 5th century AD by a Buddhist hero named Mahavamsa and its influence in shaping contemporary history of Sri Lanka. Without exaggeration, it could be claimed that the discovery of Mahavamsa and its translation into English has reshaped and redefined the country's polity before and after Sri Lanka's independence in 1948. In fact, it goes back to the beginning of the 19th century. The present clash between Tamils and the Sinhalese is due to the myth perpetrated by Mahavamsa that the Tamils are invaders, vandals, marauders, heathens and infidels, which the Sinhala Buddhists are considered as protectors of Buddhism and saviors of Sinhala race. In fact, the claim is made, like the Jews claiming that they are the chosen people of God, The Sinhalese too are the chosen people of Lord Buddha, though there were no Sinhalese at that time. நீங்கள் கவனிக்கணும். சிங்கள அந்த இன உணர்வு வந்து 8ஆம் நூற்றாண்டில் தான் அது தெரியும். மகானாமாவே தன்னை சிங்களம் சொல்லியில்லை. ருட்டஹேமோன்னு நிச்சயமாக அவன் சிங்களம் இல்லை. அது கிறிஸ்துக்கு முன் 2ஆம் நூற்றாண்டு. அவன் நாக வம்சத்தை எல்லாரும். அவனும் அவனுடைய சந்ததியும் அவனுக்கு முந்தைய சந்ததி எல்லாருமே நாகர் தான். அந்த அந்த காலத்தில் விஜயன் வரைக்கும் முன்னமே அங்கே நாகர், ஏக்கர், இளைச்சர், ராட்சதர், தமிழர் எல்லாரும் வந்துருக்கிறார்கள். இதில் உண்டு நாங்கள் நீங்கள் சொன்னது போல மகாவம்சம் மத்திய மகாநாமக்கு நாங்கள் நன்றி சொல்லுவோம். அந்த தமிழர்கள் இருந்ததே அவர் மறைக்கல. 32 சிற்றரசர்கள் வந்து மகியங்கள் தொடக்கம் எந்தாபுரம் மட்டும் இருந்தார்கள் என்ற அந்த உண்மையை அவர் மறைக்கல. மறுபடி எல்லாரோட பெரியும் நல்லா தான் எழுதியிருக்கார். அவர் நாங்கள் நினைக்கிறேன் கிட்டத்தட்ட அவர் இந்த பாண்டிய சோழ மன்னனை அவனோட புத்தகம் எழுதியிருக்கிறார். அந்த ஆராய்ச்சி மணிஞ்செல்லாம் அடிக்கிறது. ஸோ அது அந்த சிவி சக்கரத்தின் அந்த அந்த கதையை எழுதி பூர்த்தி இருக்கிறார். Today, political Buddhism promotes the interests of Sinhala Buddhists rather than the religion, Buddhism, as a path for personal salvation, and it is the main impediment to peace in the island of Sri Lanka, because it is based on the doctrine of primacy and superiority to the Sinhala race and Buddhist religion. Due to ignorance, even the present-day Sinhala Buddhists believe that they are blood relatives of Buddha, because according to Mahavamsa, their forefather Pandu Vasudeva belongs to the Sakya clan and is a relative of the Buddha, whereas the historians believe that the term Pandu in Pali means Pandya who ruled Madurai as their capital. It is only after Mahavamsa was translated from Pali to English, the educated Sinhalese Buddhists came to know the existence of the chronicle that has remained in obscurity for almost 1,300 years. A German translation of Mahavamsa in prose was completed by Bader in 1912. It was published by T.W. Rice Davids and published in the same year. This was then translated in English by Mabel Haynes Board, and the English translation was revised by Geiger. The lengthy introduction by Geiger to the book covers 63 pages. I had this volume also in my possession, but I loathe to make the claim that I have made an in-depth study of the Mahavamsa, the chronicle. I have also read a Tamil translation of Mahavamsa, which is available. Buddhist monks of the Mahayana maintained chronicles of Lankan history starting from 3rd century BCE. These annals were combined and compiled into a single document of the 5th century by the Buddhist monk Mahanama Thero. It was written based on prior ancient compilations known as Dipavamsa, which is much simpler and contains less information than Mahavamsa. Mahanama Thero relied on this text as he mentions in the preface to Mahavamsa. You know, the புத்த குருவர் தேரர்கள் அவர்களுக்கு பெரிய ஒரு அட்வான்டேஜ். அது என்னன்னு சொன்னால் அவர்கள் படிக்கிறார். அவர் படிக்க வேணும், தமிழும் படிக்கணும். இப்போ கொஞ்ச காலத்துக்கு முன்னாடி தான் இப்போ தான் தமிழ் படிக்கிறது நிப்பாடிப்பட்டார்கள். அதுக்கு முன்னாடி தமிழ் மொழி அவர்கள் கற்கவும், தமிழ், சான்ஸ்கிரிட், பாலி இதெல்லாம் அவர்கள் படிக்கணும். அதாவது தொடர்ந்து அவர்கள் படித்து கொண்டே இருப்பார்கள். இது வந்து வேறு சமயங்களில் குறிப்பாக இந்து சமயத்தில் குறைவு. ஏன்னால் இந்த குருமார்கள் வந்து அவர்களுக்கு நேரம் இல்லை, படிக்கிறது நேரம் இல்லை, அது படித்ததை மற்றவர்கள் சொல்லவும் அவர்களுக்கு நேரம் இல்லை. இதை நான் மருத்துவர் அம்பதுரம் அவர்கள் தான் நான் சொல்கிறேன். ராமகிருஷ்ண மிஷன் போல தமிழில் அது பரவலாக்கப்படணும். அப்போத்தான் நீங்கள் இந்து மதத்தையும் சைவ சமயத்தையும் நீங்கள் மக்களிடம் கொண்டு போகலாம். ஐயர் மேலே நீங்கள் நம்பியிருக்கீங்களா? இல்லை, அவருக்கு வேறு 3 தினம் அங்கே வேலைக்கு போயிட்டு the coming of the Mahavamsa is the most important epic poem in the Pali language. Mahavamsa, stripped of its poetic exaggerations and the beliefs that were probably commonplace at that time, narrates the history of early kings beginning with Vijaya, 540 BCE to 505 BCE, and ending with Dhatusena, 452 BCE to 470 AD. If not for the Mahavamsa and the earlier Dipavamsa, the early history of Ceylon would have remained somewhat dark and blank. It is one of the few documents containing material relating to the Nagas, Yakas, and Tamils, the highly civilized indigenous people of Lanka prior to the legendary arrival of Vijaya. The coming of Buddhism to the island, whether it happened over a period of time or during a single visit in the Dero, is debatable. So is the conversion of the Hindu king Devanambiya Tisa. Devanambiya Tisa, Tisa Tisa BCE 247 to BCE 207. Second son of Mutaswami. 307 BCE to 247 BCE of the island to Buddhism. The extraneous mythical legends details express the people's collective unconscious desire to emerge out of their own insignificance. In Ramayana too, the monkey Hanuman flies over the ocean to Lanka in search of Sita, the wife of Raman. In fact, Mahavamsa contains some episodes which are copied from the Mahabharata and Ramayana. The grand purpose of compiling Mahavamsa by Mahanama Thera was to create, serene joy and emotion of the pious. Each chapter of the Mahavamsa and its sequel, the Chudavamsa, ends with a postscript. Here ends the chapter called The Mahavamsa was written unmistakably from the Sinhalese Buddhist standpoint, extolling the victories of the so-called victories of the Sinhalese over the Tamil kings. I say the so-called because many Sinhalese kings were in fact Nagas or Tamils. Even the hero of Mahavamsa, Buddhagaminu, 101 to 77 BCE, was a Naga prince from his paternal as well as his maternal lineage. Both the father and the mother, his father and the mother, they are all Nagas. They are not Sinhalese. They are not Tamils. At least they are Dravidians. You know, this identity of Sinhalese was given later by about the 8th century. Only the identity was given because the monks thought they must give their separate identity to Buddhists to differentiate from Tamil Hindus.
Yeah.
So the Nagas who were Hindus, they became Tamils. The Nagas who were Buddhists, they became Sinhalese. That's what happened over the time. The grand purpose of compiling the Naga people were the aboriginal inhabitants who ruled the coastal districts of mostly the western and northern Ceylon, particularly the Jaffna Peninsula from the 6th century BC to 3rd century BC. The interchangeable names Naga and Naga or Naga or Naga, meaning cobra or serpent, were applied to and self-described by this snake-worshipping people. They worship snakes. According to the Mahavamsa, Nagas were a set of supernatural beings. Amanishyan usually and the supernatural beings whose natural forms was a serpent, but they could assume any form at will. There were 3 Naga kingdoms at Vattu Nagala, Kalpitiya, ruled by the Naga king called Chuladharan, Samutra Naga Bhavanan, Nagadipa, ruled by Naga king Mahodharan, and Kelani, ruled by a Naga king called Manikradan, and they lived as 3 separate Naga communities. And Biharmaderi is the daughter of Manikradan.
Yeah.
There is
Biharmaderi?
yes.
She is the mother of Kamino.
Yeah.
Daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah, but daughter, I am saying
Yeah.
daughter.
Daughter. Mother of so and so.
Did I say mother? No, daughter. The daughter of this Kelani king. Kelani mandi Kalani. Kalyani then Kalani and Margaret, there is not the slightest doubt that the author of Mahavamsa wanted to give Lanka a Buddhist identity by concocting this fictitious story. By all accounts and sources in India, Buddha never traveled beyond the borders of India. In fact, he never even visited the 3 Tamil kingdoms in the south. He came as far as Bihar. I am skipping history to come to the post-independence history of Ceylon and the influence of Mahavamsa mindset. According to Mahavamsa, after reaching heaven, Gautama Buddha requested the Lord of Gods, identified as Indra, to protect Vijaya in Lanka so that Buddhism could flourish there. Indra handed over the guardianship of Lanka to the lotus-colored god called Uttulava. Some say he is Vishnu. He is still worshipped in parts of Kenya.
Avatar. And the snake above the head of Buddha.
The British historian Jane Russell has recounted how a process of Mahavansa bashing began in the 1930s, especially from within the Tamil nationalist movement. This view was attacked by G.G. Ponambalam, the leader of nationalist Tamils in the 1930s. He claimed that most of the Sinhalese kings, including Vijaya, I think Vijaya is not a Tamil, Kasiyappa yes, and Paragrama, yes, his grandfather was a Tamil, grandmother was a Tamil. Ponambalam's 1939 speech in Navalapitiya attacking the claim that Sri Lanka is a Sinhalese Buddhist only nation. The Sinhalese majority responded with a mock riot, which engulfed Navalapitiya, Passara, Maskeria, and even Jaffna. The Mahavansa mindset, deeply entrenched in the psyche of the Sinhalese, is the epicenter of racial conflict between the Sinhalese and the Tamils. Since independence, the Jatika Hela Urumia parliamentary and Venerable Illavala Maitavana Thero claimed that Sinhalese are the original inhabitants of Sri Lanka, and others, that is Tamils and Muslims, came as invaders or illegal immigrants. He asked the Muslim who came to Sri Lanka for trade to go back to Saudi Arabia from where they came. Thus, the myth of unbroken line of Sinhalese king beginning from Vijaya rules on is a revision of history. A critical look at history, including Mahavansa, belies such a proposition. We know for certain that at least the last three kings of Kandy were Tamils. They were actually Tamil-speaking Telugus. Up till the 19th century, the kings who ruled Ceylon were Nagas and Tamils and not Sinhalese. Many kings who ruled from Mandayavara had the word Naga, Tisa as their suffix. There are too many such names, and I have omitted the names of Tamil kings who ruled from Mandayavara. Vijaya did not have the expected son from his Pandyan queen and died without hair. Sinhalese are a mixed race. The Sinhalese are a mixed race having assimilated local tribes like Nagas and Yakshas. As the list above shows, the earliest kings of Sri Lanka are Nagas. Devalambiya Tisa, the first convert to Buddhism, was a Naga king. The infamous Dutagamanu, 161 to 137 BC, was not a Sinhalese. He is a descendant from Mahanaga, who is the brother of Devalambiya Tisa. King Pandugabhaya's son was Murtasivan, king of Andhravura. Devalambiya Tisa was the second son of Murtasiva, next king of Andhravura. Mahanaga was the brother of King Devalambiya Tisa. The Mahanaga was second in line to the throne. One of the wives of King Devalambiya Tisa decided to kill Mahanaga in order to get the crown to her son. Mahanaga fled to Rohana and founded a new kingdom there. And after Mahanama, his son Jathalaka Tisa became the king of Rohana. After Jathalaka Tisa, his son Gotabaya, his name is very famous. We don't give our sons or daughters the names of Sangali or even Villala. Very, very seldom. But Gotabaya, that name is coming from, because they are from Rohana. So they are given the name Gotabaya. And Gotabaya was actually Dutagamani's grandfather. Mahanamaya was second in line to the throne. One of the wives of King Devalambiya decided to kill Mahana. I read that. After Jathavati, his son Gotabaya, or Abhaya, became the ruler of Rohana. And after Abhaya, his son Kaha Venathisan became the ruler of Rohana. And who is the son of King Kaha Venathisan? None other than our hero Dutagamanu, or Abhaya Gamini. Abhaya was his father's name. Dutagamani's mother was a Naga prince, Viharma Devi, the daughter of Naga king Kelantisa, who ruled Kalyani, and Kavantisan, Varmathisan, who is the son of Abhaya. The war between Yara and Dutagamani was not a war between the Tamils and the Sinhalese. It was a war between the two dynasties for control of Andhravura kingdom for the Buddhists. Dutagamani's battle cry was not for the kingdom but for Buddhism. He attacked Andhravura because his ancestors were ruling from Andhravura, so he wanted to recover the kingdom for him, not because Allah was a Tamil. Even if there was some other king by some other name, Dutagamani would have invaded Andhravura. The history of Buddhism in Sri Lanka, especially its extended period of glory, is for many Sinhalese a potent symbol that links the past with the present. Buddhism's battle cry, not for the kingdom but for Buddhism, was purely a fiction, invented by the fertile imagination of the author of Mahavamsa. These are words put into the mouth of Buddhism at least 6 centuries after the event. Obviously, the author wanted to paint Buddhism as the hero of Mahavamsa. This could be seen from the fact that while the Dipamamsa devoted only 10 verses to narrate the rule of Buddhism, Mahavamsa's author devotes 10 chapters to his rule, and Vijaya is the central legendary figure in the Mahavamsa. Surya described the war between Illavan and Buddhagamana is well known. It was included in Tamil textbooks in schools many years back. When I was at school, I used to read that. According to Mahavamsa, Buddhagamana, overwhelmed with grief over the lives lost in the war, addressed the 8 Arahats, saints who had come to comfort him with thus: "How shall there be any comfort for me, O venerable sirs, since by me was caused the slaughter of great number of host of numbering millions." I think this is the same question Devanambiya also asked. Ashoka asked his followers. So I think he must have copied this from some story at that time. The Arahats replied, "From this deed arises no hindrance in the way to heaven. Only 1.5 human beings have been slain by thee, O Lord of men. The one had come unto the 3 refuges, the other had taken on himself the 5 precepts. Unbelievers and evil men were the rest, not more to be esteemed than beasts." No, these are words of, found in Mahavamsa. "But as for thee, thou wilt cling to the doctrine of the Buddha in manifold ways. Therefore cast away care from thy thought, O ruler of men." This is what the Arahats are telling Buddha, because he was grieving over the fact that he had to kill so many thousands of men in the battlefield. The author of Mahavamsa, to exalt Buddhism, invents several myths. One of them is the myth of the Tamils who died not more than to be esteemed than beasts. Right at the beginning, Mahavamsa refers indigenous people as invincible and superhuman. When Vijaya banished Kuveni with her 2 children fathered by him, she went to Lankapura, where she was taken for a spy and slain. But the 2 children managed to escape to the jungles, and Mahavamsa claims that from them sprang the Pulinda, that is the Vedas. The strategies to portray the indigenous Vedas having originated from after Vijaya are not preceding. The above myths taught to children in Buddhist viharas are embedded in the minds of Sinhalese people and prevents an honest scientific inquiry in the Sri Lankan antiquity. In order to demythologize these myths, the well-known archaeologist Paranavidana, a Buddhist himself, declared that Mahavamsa's account of Buddha's visit to the island were pure legends. The Buddhist bhikkhus raised a hue and cry against Paranavidana, and he was silenced. Mahavamsa stories are repeated and transmitted from generation to generation. They occupy a revered place in the present day Buddhist ritual beliefs. Contemporary Buddhism in Sri Lanka has little to do with the doctrinal and philosophical goals of the ancient religion. Buddhism is not a religion in the context of being a faith and worship owing allegiance to a supernatural being. There is no almighty God in Buddhism. There is no one to hand out the rewards or punishments on a supposedly judgment day or at the time of death. No savior concept in Buddhism. The Buddha is not a savior who saves others by his personal salvation. Although a Buddhist seeks refuge in the Buddha as his incomparable guide who indicates the path of purity, he makes no servile surrender. A Buddhist does not think that he can gain purity merely by seeking refuge in the Buddha or by mere faith in him. It is not within the power of Buddha to wash away the sins of others. The relationship between Buddha and his disciples and the followers is that of a teacher and student. This liberation of self is the responsibility of one's own self. Buddhism does not call for an unquestionable blind faith by all Buddhist followers. It places heavy emphasis on self-reliance, self-discipline, and individual striving. Nevertheless, doctrinal Buddhism is hard to find anywhere, especially in Sri Lanka. Buddhism has been greatly influenced and corrupted by Hinduism, like belief in rebirth and the concept of karma. Anagarika Dharmapada was one of the leading contributors to the Buddhist revival of the 19th century that led to the creation of Buddhist institutions and Buddhist schools to match those of Christian missionaries and to the independence movement of the 20th century. He illustrated the first 3 points in a public speech. This bright, beautiful island was made into paradise by the Aryan Sinhalese before its destruction was brought about by the barbaric Vandals. Its people did not know religion. Christianity and polytheism are responsible for the vulgar practices of killing animals, stealing, prostitution, licentiousness, lying, and drunkenness. The ancient historic refined people under the diabolism of vicious paganism introduced by the British administrator are now declining slowly away. These are the words of Anagarika Dharmapada. He was a layman, later he became a Buddhist monk. He went to India. In 1909, Dharmapada declared that Buddhism was completely identified with the racial individuality of the people. As Peter Shaw says, this is probably one of the most conflict-creating public statements made in the 20th century. It is also a statement that is detrimental to the nationally and internationally to the reputation of Buddhism. He stated explicitly that Lanka belongs to the Buddhist Sinhalese, and for the Tamils there is South India. Another notable revivalist, Valpola Rahula, is a monk, a Buddhist monk who wrote the book The Heritage of the Bhikkhu, advocating politics for Buddhist monks. A new political Buddhist tradition emerged in Sri Lanka, encouraging and justifying political activism by Buddhist monks. Since the publication of the Heritage of the Bhikkhu, the degree of Bhikkhu involvement in Sri Lankan politics has gradually increased, marking clear phases of radical developments. The Australian Buddhist Congress played a pivotal role and led campaigns calling the government to declare Buddhism as a state religion. You see, we are not going to yet. The Buddhism has only been given foremost place in Sri Lankan constitution. But the next step might be to give them, the status of the state religion. S.W. Bandana is the first politician to use Sangha to capture power. In 1956, he rose to power by forming the Panchamaha Balaburgiya, comprising the Sangha, the Veda, Guru, Gaudi, and Kamguru. That galvanized Sinhala social forces behind the SLP, founded by Bandaranaike. Gaudi, the farmers, and Kamguru is the working class. He expressed the competing Sinhala chauvinism and economic nationalism to outbid his electoral enemies, particularly the liberal-leaning ruling UNP. To win the elections, Bandaranaike formed an electoral alliance with the pro-Sinhalese nationalist parties like the VLLSP, led by Philip Gunawardena, supposed to be a firebrand Trotskyite. The newly formed monks-only party, the Except Bhikkhu Peramana, played a critical role in this election as a major political pressure group. The EBP, fiercely anti-UNP, anti-West, and anti-Catholic, presented a 10-point agenda, the Dasa Pranatha, to Bandaranaike at a massive rally in Colombo. The 10-point agenda included making Sinhala the only official language and giving Buddhism its rightful place. One of the APS slogans was, a vote for the UNP is a vote for the Catholics, a vote for the MEP is a vote for the Buddhists. Bandaranaike, with the total support of Sinhala Buddhists, strongly campaigned in the villages of the south and west of the island, while these anti-Western, anti-Catholic groups largely concentrated on the urban areas of the south and west in pro-Buddhism. The MEP won 51 out of 96 seats and formed the government. On June 5, 1956, Bandaranaike introduced in the House of Representatives a bill to make Sinhala the only official language of Sri Lanka. Sinhala-only Act not only promotes ethno-linguistic nationalism of the Sinhalese, but became a source of radical Tamil nationalism in the 1980s. Today, the Sinhalese identity of Sri Lankan derives from two factors, the Sinhala language and the Buddhist religion. For the Tamils, our identity is only language. Our identity is not religion. That is why our people accept and say, Richard is our leader. Anyone can become a leader among the Tamils, but not so in the south. South, you can see every leader was a Sinhala Buddhist. And most of them came from, 99% came from the Gorigama caste, except Premadasa, who came from a so-called low caste. The key aim of politics is to win power and retain power. In democratic societies, a symbolic strategy like language, race, and religion enables politicians to outbid their opponents on anti-minority or pro-majority policies. Sinhalese comprise 74% of the population, and Buddhists constitute 70.19% of the registered voters. The next phase of the ascendancy of communal and religious politics was in 1970. The SLP, which lost the elections in June 1960, formed a grand alliance of Ceylon Marxist parties. Mrs. Srimama Bandanga formed a united front with the Trotskyite, the LSSP, and the Communists. The ULF platform was called Common Program. It featured extensive nationalization, a more pro-Soviet foreign policy, expanded social programs, and abolition of Salisbury Constitution, along with Article 29(2), which sought to protect minority rights. The US, which fought on the symbolic pro-Sinhala agenda, recorded a massive landslide, winning 91 out of the 108 seats. The LSSP and the CP won 19 and 6 seats respectively. This number is included in the 191 seats. UNP won 17 seats out of 130 it contested. The ITAK, that is the Tamil Tamil Kachi, won 13, and ACTC won 3. ACTC, the All Ceylon Tamil Congress. In terms of their election pledge, the UF enacted a constitution that eliminated Article 29(2). The All Ceylon Buddhist Congress objected to Section 29(2) because it did not redress the injuries that had been done to Buddhism. Mark those words. Because it did not redress the injuries that had been done to Buddhism during the colonial period, and because it failed to protect the current interests of Buddhist laymen and monks. The Chapter 2 of the 1972 Constitution reads as follows: The Republic of Sri Lanka shall give to Buddhism the foremost place, and accordingly it shall be the duty of the state to protect and foster Buddhism while assuring to all religions the right guaranteed by Section 18(1)(d). Between May 1971 and January 1972, Palvini Silva and the drafting committee adjusted the resolution to reflect two aspects of the debates. Firstly, the drafters replaced the term rightful place with the strong phrase foremost place. And secondly, the redefined resolution removed the phrase qualifying Buddhism as the religion of the majority of Sri. In 1977, the majority of Tamils voted for the UNP on the basis of its election manifesto, which inter alia read as follows: There are numerous problems confronting the Tamil-speaking people. The lack of a solution to their problems has made the Tamil-speaking people support even a movement for the creation of a separate state. In the interest of national integration and unity, so necessary for the economic development of the whole country, the party feels such problems should be solved without the loss of time. The party, when it comes to power, will take all possible steps to remedy the grievances in such fields as education, to colonization, 3, use of Tamil language, and 4, employment in public and semi-public corporation. We will summon an all-party conference as stated earlier and implement this decision. Nothing happened, all you know. Subsequent events prove that A. Yadun has not changed his political stance on the ethnic question. In 1947, he openly incited the Sinhala chauvinism. The time has come for the Sinhala race, which has existed for 2,500 years, which is a lie, zealously safeguarding their language and religion to fight without giving any quarter to save their birthright. I will lead the campaign. J. Yadun, Sinhala official leader, reported in Sri Lanka Tribune, 30th August 1957. If at all he has changed for the worse and never intended to solve any of the grievances suffered by the Tamil people. The manifesto on Tamil grievances was a ploy to win the votes of the Tamil people and no more. Tamil suffered the worst riots in 1977, 79, 81 and 83. Thousands of Tamils lost their lives and property, worth millions were destroyed. Mahavamsa stories are repeated and transmitted from generation to generation. They occupy a revered place in the present-day Sinhalese Buddhist ritual beliefs. In Lanka, after independence in 1948, Buddhism, which teaches tolerance and non-violence, became an instrument to gain political power. Whatever party that comes to power is forced to make a disproportionate concession to the Sinhala Buddhist in spheres like education, jobs, land distribution, admission to higher institution of learning like law college, etc. Since independence, all prime ministers and presidents were Sinhala Buddhist. I have appended a list of books and articles which you can refer if you have the time. It is available in the internet. One is the Sri Lankan National Question and the Tamil Liberation Movement, written by Sachi Ponnambalam. It's a very good book. It's written about 30 years ago, but it's a very good book. It's the first attempt to sort of give the other side of the story. And then Buddhism Betrayed by Stanley Tambaya, Mahavamsa, a review by Tam Kanasava, which is circulated here, and Concise Mahavamsa History of Buddhism in Sri Lanka, Politicization of Buddhism and Electoral Politics in Sri Lanka, ARM Imitas, which is available in my website. There's a very good research article by a Muslim. Bauta Singular Sirvan Melun, Sana Kida Pongala. He is a retired professor at the Columbia University. And also my article is How to Assess the Mahavira's Influence on Contemporary History of Sri Lanka, Mahavamsa Mindset. That is also available in my website. And this article also I have already uploaded in my website. So you are free to go and look at it if you are all interested. Thank you very much.